Happy Monday!
Oh my gosh, it's been like forever.
It feels like forever. Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday, everyone. For everybody who has been following us, thank you so much for subscribing and for all of your comments and feedback that we've been receiving. We really greatly appreciate it. And my kids have been on summer break. So that is the reason why we kind of have been on vacation for the last couple of weeks. For all of you who are watching, who are stay-at-home moms or who are working part-time, who have young children, you know who you are. I'm sure you all can relate. And right now, I personally am at the mercy of my kids' schedule, which is why we have this 2-week delay or so.
Well, yeah. And I know you guys miss us, so I'm like, we got to get back to it.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a lot of work if you're a working parent and you have your kids out of school on vacation. And by the way, you're still working. So it's not that you're on vacation.
Yes.
I'm not on vacation.
Yes.
But having to do these videos kind of take us, a step back from the family life and taking care of family first. So we had to make some time though, because we miss you guys too. We want to make sure we don't totally disconnect. And we're back today to give you some information of what's going on in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all of our viewers out there, just to get you caught up with everything and what's going on, I recently acquired an investment property, which I've converted into a short-term rental. Mm-hmm. And one of the coolest things is it is being featured on Airbnb as, a property, a space for people.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things that I love about this business is that you get to meet people from all over the world. And one of our most recent events that we've had was a NASCAR event that was held.
Huge.
Huge. 100,000 people in Coronado. And one of the drivers, sponsors, people involved, I don't know exactly, I didn't ask too many questions, actually stayed at my property. And in addition to that, I've had actually 5 total so far who have actually stayed at my property. Thank God I've been graded a 5-star rating so far.
Nice, congrats.
And for the month of June, I've actually had 8 bookings. So I was completely sold out for the month of June. So I'm very, very fortunate and very happy that I was able to produce way more than the mortgage, way more than the HOA, and all of the, utility bills. So if you are a military first-time home buyer and you're trying to figure out, okay, is San Diego a good place to really park my money into real estate or letting that appreciate and everything, what if I can't get a long-term tenant? Well, short-term rentals is another option that you can go. And I, for one, can testify as it being a very profitable industry or another channel of real estate. So right now, if you're thinking about getting into the market, today we're going to go over our stats. We're going to go over our numbers. We're going to go over interest rates. We're going to go over the history and how we can strategize in getting you into a home.
And just to add to that, because I was on my way here this morning and I actually was reading about we're having the World Cup in California. There's a couple of stadiums. And the closest stadium to San Diego is Inglewood. But they were saying how much the economic in San Diego has improved because of the World Cup. Because what's happening is it's about an hour and a half from the World Cup in Inglewood. It's about an hour and a half from San Diego. But we're getting people that are staying here and just traveling to LA. Why? San Diego is beautiful. We have beautiful weather. It's a beautiful place to stay at. If you're vacationing in California, we probably have the best weather out of all of California.
Hands down.
And so traveling to LA and staying here makes sense, right? And it's actually way less expensive if you stay in San Diego and just drive an hour and a half and get to LA and rent a car. So we're feeling the economic boost of having the World Cup in California. And also we had NASCAR in Coronado, which was it was the first time ever. And I heard there was like 100,000 people there. It was an amazing event. And so if you're looking to buy, like you said, and you wanted it to be an investment property somewhere where people vacation, San Diego, hands down. right? Now, well, let's jump right into mortgage rates and what's going on in the market, because we haven't talked about that in a while. We entered the war with Iran in February 28th, and there's a lot that's been going on since then. The news, the media, the peace treaties not happening. So what's going on with the market during this whole time is that we've seen inflation just kick up. And when inflation goes up, generally we see rates follow inflation numbers. So we've seen the mortgage rates literally climb up about 0.5% to 0.75%. If you look at where we were in January, and I'll put a graph here from January to now, so you can see where 30-year mortgage rates have been. So we were as low as 6% on a conforming loan. And currently we're running somewhere around 6.5 because they've dropped a little bit, but we were as high as 6.75. Now, you and I talked about focusing on payment and affordability and not being focused on what rates are doing, right?
Right.
And what I've seen lately and what we've done to help people, because we're all payment sensitive, we are doing the 1-year buy down, and that's been very helpful to get families and individuals into a mortgage where they're comfortable with the payment for the first 12 months. So the buy down is very helpful if you want to do a 1-year buy down or a 2-year buy down. What that does is that it lowers your interest rate 1% for a year and 2% if you do the 2-year buy down for the first year, and then 1% for the second year. That can change your payment $600 to $1,000 less a month. Now, the best part of this is the seller pays for the buy down. And Angelica could talk about the strategy on how we get sellers to pay for the buy down and the perfect market too, because sometimes you have to have everything in place, right? Having property sit longer in the market, and you can go into details on how we work that strategy. But when we can get buyers like yourself into a payment that's comfortable for at least 1 or 2 years, it makes a huge difference. And that's what we're doing right now to really try to help you get into a home today before the market heats up, whenever that is, because at this point, this has been a roller coaster, right? I don't know. I feel like rates, we've expected them to come down. They have not, because a lot of uncertainty in the economy. A lot of things have happened. And then home prices continue to drive themselves up or stay pretty strong. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about a strategy, how we implement the 1-year and the 2-year buy down to help our clients get into homes?
This is an ideal market right now that we're currently sitting in that can utilize this strategy, the 1-year or a 2-year buy down. First and foremost, the median home prices right now for a single family detached property is $925,000. Now that went up a few months ago and now we're back down again. Days on market right now, we're still looking at 36 to 40 days on market. We still are seeing 1.3% year over year as far as inventory goes. So that's actually good. We're still at an all-time low. If you compare it to 2008, we're actually less than the inventories back since 2008. But to go back to your point, how is a 1-year or a 2-year buy down strategy perfect for this type of market? Well, like you mentioned, we're sitting at a 6.5%. Previously, we were looking at 6.75%. As a real estate professional with our experience, what we do is we negotiate the contract. So let's just say, I don't know, you see a property from an open house, right? Or off of Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com that you absolutely fall in love with. Now, full disclaimer and 100% transparency, we do not encourage you to shop for homes before getting pre-approved.
Don't do it.
The reason why is because if in the event you do fall in love with a property and you can imagine yourself sipping your first cup of coffee in that beautiful home that first morning, And you find out that you actually cannot afford the property due to income reasons
Right.
or whatever the case may be. This is the reason why we strongly discourage actually browsing, window shopping for homes, because with our experience, we see it time and time and again, where we've had some clients, come in, we try to make things work, and if it doesn't fit their budget, and unfortunately, we kind of look like the bad guys having to break their heart and bring them back to reality, showing what you can actually afford. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not saying to not look at properties or anything like that, but I think it would be in your best interest, especially as a first-time home buyer, to actually sit down with us, real estate professionals, mortgage broker, a consultant, who's actually going to look at your financials, diagnose the anatomy of what you can truly afford, and then I come in with a strategic mindset, helping you focus on the right payment, despite what the interest rate looks like. We want to focus on affordability. And because of that, as a first-time home buyer, as we all know, finding a property on the coastline near the beach is very competitive compared to inland properties.
Yeah.
Inland properties are much more affordable if you're looking at East County, South Bay, anything compared to La Jolla or even Carlsbad, anywhere on the coast, Mission Beach, PB, you name it. So given that aspect of real estate, having to also take a look at the days on market, on how long a property has been sitting on the market for as long as 6 months or 5 months or anything in between there, I, as a real estate professional, can call the listing agent, kind of find out, okay, where is the motivation at with this specific seller? Because it is my job to get the best deal for you by having to negotiate specific terms, having to negotiate specific seller's concessions, whether that is closing costs and rate buy down. Because if interest rates right now are at a 6.5%, it's my job to get it down to a 4.5% or even a 5.5% for 1 year. Now, going into details on what your monthly mortgage payments would look like, we would encourage you to contact us today, set up an appointment, and let's take a look at what that figure actually looks like.
Absolutely. And what we're trying to get to is that there is a strategy for you to be able to buy today in this market. As expensive as it is, as high as the rates are, people are still buying. We're still helping clients get into their dream homes. So where it starts out with is a consultation, right? Sitting down with us to make sure we look at the numbers, we give you the information you need so that you're making an informed decision. And I can tell you, the last family we helped, it was from a consultation to an offer to keys in hand, less than 30 days. So it can work out for you. And they came in not knowing what was going to happen. So if you're on the fence, you're not sure, you met with someone else, you didn't get the information that you needed, give us a call, give us a try, see why our clients that come with us successfully get into homes. And we're not just saying that. We have a track record and we have testimonials and we have clients that we're handing keys to, and we want to do that to you too. We want to help you.
So if you are on the fence and you're trying to figure out if right now is the right time to buy, give us a call. We're here to hold your hand through every step of the way, and we're always happy to answer any question you might have.
Thank you, guys.
Happy Monday, everyone.